Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans. How you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. This evening, pushing midnight, we're joined by Kent. Women love him, men want to be him. How are you doing, Kent?
How's it going, Russell? All right.
I'm all right, lad. What you on with?
Just finished watching the fight there. I was just completely shocked, to be honest with you.
What with Wardley?
Yeah, shocked.
We're getting his.
Didn't win a round. He won one round.
You what, mate?
He won one round in that fight. Honestly, I just can't believe it. Really
Yeah,
can't believe it.
yeah, but Kent, it's a 12-round fight, isn't it? Would you say, Kent, that Wardley's like a Wilder type? Because that fight reminded me of Wilder Lewis Ortiz. Do you remember?
It was. I think if you look at Fabio Wardley compared to Wilder back then, Wardley's a lot more measured. He measures his shots a bit better. His shot selection's a lot better, considering that Wilder come through as an Olympian and had a extensively longer amateur career than Wardley. Wardley technically is better, but you're right, it was a similar fight, but obviously without the knockdowns. I thought Hooney controlled the fight from round two right up until he got knocked out. I thought he was very good inside. Like he was very good at fighting off the center line, moving off the center line, and punching off that. He was really, really dangerous with hooks, and he controlled the distance well, inside, outside, and he just got caught with a big shot. And I was surprised because you look at all of Fabio's wins, he hasn't got any late stoppages. He's always very, very early. So he's one of those fighters, as the fight goes on, his power seems to diminish. But to get a knockout like that there, it was really credible win for him. And I have to say, Russell, to be honest with you, it was a contrast in you could see a contrast in trainers and corners. I thought Ben Davison it was bloody awful. I look at it, Fabio Wardley's coach guy who's coached Fabio Wardley from the second he came into a boxing ring is Robert Hodgins, who's his coach. Ben Davison seems to come in and lead the corner as like assistant.
What is he
I
taking
would have
all
a
credit now, boxer size Ben?
I would have a problem with that. I would be saying no. You know, I actually been in boxing longer than you, Ben. I know more about you. I've trained this guy from the first time he lifted a pair of gloves. Shut your mouth and give me the water. That's what I would be saying. And if you had anything about you at all, you would actually turn around and say, you know what, Robert, you lead the corner. You're his coach. It reminds me a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard's coach his whole career was Dave Jacobs, and Angelo Dundee used to come in the week of the fight, didn't train him, didn't do pads with him, didn't do sparring, and just took over the whole thing and got the credit for it. And I tell you what, you know who deserves the credit for that tonight? Frank Warren, because Frank Warren went into the corner and said, "Throw your right hand," and he did. Why was Ben Davison not telling him to do that from round two
Because
onwards?
he's the safety first guy in a boxer size, Ben. Look, we all remember what happened, right, when Mark Tibbs went out there to America, didn't he? Mark Tibbs did all heavy lifting, didn't he? Ventura with Billy Joe. They flew out to when they fought Canelo in America. Ben Davison came in, didn't he? Day at weigh-in and blah de blah and tried to be this big noise and all that. And what happened? Look what happened. And it nearly
It was
happened
bloody
tonight, didn't
disgraceful.
it? It nearly happened tonight, didn't it? Again, but Wardley, he's got the devil in him, and he's got the equaliser. A bit like Wilder, really. I like Wardley for the simple reason I think he's got a bit of class when he does his interviews, and he's knocking guys onto button moan. Yeah, he's not the best skill. He's come from white collar, but he's got that, hasn't he? And that's what I want to see, mate. I don't want to see people who are multi-skilled guys with no knackers who don't throw any punches. That's why they don't get dates. Who wants people on slots who I'm not going to say any names and we know we're on about who don't throw the right hand? We don't want to see shite. We want to see people like Wardley. I'm Team Wardley. Even though Mark Jeffers has knacked my accumulator up tonight, 15 fight accumulator. Mark Jeffers has knacked me tonight. The ginger cunt. But
Yeah, as we know, a few days ago, I picked Hooney to win, and I have been pro Fabio for the last 3 years on this channel. I've been getting rinsed about it. I said 3 years ago that you said to me, what would you like Joshua to do next? And this was when Fabio was with Matchroom, Crop Room. That's when Fabio was with Crop Room. And I said to you, I would love to see Fabio against AJ. He'd knock him out. I think he's got a lot of heart, and I think he's really improving. Like
who?
you talk about
Who?
Wardley technique ways,
Oh yeah, of course he is, man. He's
really
getting look at he's
improving,
learning on job, isn't he? You know what
really
Ward needs
improving.
now? He needs, and Nick Manners will back me up on this. Wardley's at that stage now where he's hit 30, and he needs a teacher of trainers, you know, like a Julian McGowan type, a teacher of trainers. You know what I mean? It's no good getting some kid in like Ben Davidson who's wet behind ears. Ben Davidson's one for future. He's got to learn his craft. They can't keep parachuting him in because they all want to get on an AJ show or they all want to get in with big promoters. Start going with trainers that know what they're talking about, old schoolers. Do you know what I mean? He's a new schooler. Nobody wants to see printouts and stuff like that and spreadsheets and all that. They're making boxing they're adding too much to it. Boxing is pretty simple. Get yourself in fantastic condition and let your fucking hands go. And Wardley's just shown that. He's got heart, he hung in there, he was getting knocked about and that, but he's got the equaliser on him. That's it. It's like Man United. They can be 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go and somebody could score 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. It's a 90-minute match. You know what I mean? Look at Taylor against Carl Froch. Carl were getting knocked about, wasn't he? But he hung in there, didn't he? And he kept letting his hands go and he kept forcing it. And eventually he got him out there. Do you know what I mean? And people keep saying, Taylor was shot. No, he wasn't shot. He Justin Lacey. He was WBC #1. He couldn't get out of that fight. And 5 years later, he was still a world champion. See where I'm coming from? Wardley is the real deal, mate. He's got the power on it. I've got the power.
He's he's top class now. I don't know that. I don't really think he needs anybody like Julian or anybody like that. I
Who
don't
does he
think
need then?
Julian.
Does he need Ben Davidson?
He needs his coach, his
All right,
proper
then his
coach.
coach. Well, why? There must be something wrong there. I'm not arguing with you, Ken. I'm not going against you, but if he's brought Ben Davidson in, there's doubts here about his coach. AJ brought Angel Hernandez and that Joby Clayton in, so there were doubts about McCracken, weren't there?
Is it really Fabio or is it Frank Warren? It was is this a thing where you train my guys? I want to make sure that everything goes to plan on the night. He's put in the corner. Look at the last lot of performances with Ben Davis and Russell. Let's look at this. Let's look at the last AJ performance, right? Lee Wood's last
Would.
performance and that tonight. Let's look at all these performances.
Look, Ben Davidson's a safety first guy, mate. Safety first. And sometimes I don't think that works. We're talking heavyweight boxing. One punch can change it, so let your hands go. Don't go trying to play it safe and be Mr. Technical. Let them go. You know what I mean? I know I keep reverting back to certain fighters, but there's fighters I know have been beating certain fights and they've gone, oh, why did I try and get technical with a technical fighter? Why didn't I just fight my own game? Let your hands go. If you go out on your shield, no problem. But then you can put your head down on pillow at night. But if you hadn't gone out on your shield and you tried to do something different, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night for years, would you? Not after that. He might not recover from that, Uni. Do Do you know?
That was a big shot, Russell. That was a shot from the gods. Like that was a beautiful shot. You look at big heavyweight punchers. Some are early, some are mid, some
Well,
are
it's
late.
made Dave
Fa-
Allen look stupid, hasn't he? The lazy rhino. Yeah, Wardley's only beat Fraser Clark. Fraser Clark was an Olympic bronze medalist. He put him on button moon. He just put Uni on button moon. So let's give Wardley his flowers, Kent. Yeah, he was losing fight, but so what? He won, and he knocked him out. And there's no dispute about what's just gone on there, is there? He just flattened him.
well,
Absolutely
Dave Allen's a
poleaxed
cheek.
him.
What can Dave Allen talk about? Dave Allen went into the fight with
Did you
Fraser
see him on
Clark.
Talksport, Rhino? I'm disgusted with him. Who's Wardley beat Fraser Clark? What, Olympic bronze medalist? Big freeze? He just put him
You
on
know,
bottom one.
the way Dave Allen was fighting against Fraser Clark, he was fighting to try and get him disqualified, and that's listen. I want to talk about, as you say, that performance there from Fabio Wardley. They sold the stadium out. It looked at the
Two
top
seconds. Yeah, go on.
the top part of the stadium obviously was half empty, but the ground, the floor, and the first tier was completely packed. So it sold out really well, and that's the type of performance that gets a lot more people interested. He was behind well in the fight. He was getting out comprehensively outboxed, outfought, and just pulled out this punch from the gods. The excitement that caused in the whole stadium was like that tonight was better than going 10 rounds, using your job, safety first. That's going to get a lot more interest. That's going to get a lot more people wanting to watch
Did you
Fabio
see?
Wardley.
Did you see Eddie Hills? Hills. He was like,
I seen him over trying to big him up and talk to him like, well done and all. And Fabio was like, go
okay.
away from me. Like, he was with him earlier on and he let him go. So that's another disaster from Matchroom. You look at the crop room, you look at the amount of heavyweight fighters they had at one stage, and
Eddie's on
now they've
skid
basically
rowing, you
none.
know. I mean, when you look at him, right, Kent, Bricktop's got all WBO, WBA, IBF, WBC, all the top ranked guys in them four divisions are all brick tops. And he's got Dubois and Fury as well. Fury's Ring Magazine #1. I don't even know how. You know what I mean? Because he's saying he's retired, but he's Ring Magazine #1. Dubois pinched the belt. I know who said give him it. You see, take it, I'll get it back next year. So Bricktop's the top guy. Eddie is heading for Skid Row and he's talking. Eddie, well, Eddie thinks he's going to get on Sky, doesn't he? He might do, but who's he got? Who's he fucking got from UK? What's he going to do? Bring all these foreigners over and we're all going to buy into that? They're not going to do tickets, are they?
Doesn't work.
You know what?
Doesn't work.
Oh, pissed
It
here.
doesn't work. He's got himself. Frank Warren has got himself into a great position here, and to the point now, Russell, where Frank Warren doesn't need Saudi,
He's going to get, who
whatsoever.
is it, Dylan Whitefield in as well for not helping him with Fury fighting. He's got a long memory, hasn't he, old Dinted?
So,
Well, well, he has, hasn't he?
yeah,
Do
there's
you remember
talk of
his Kent? Do you remember Bricktop's beef years ago with Eubank Senior? And eventually he got him, didn't he? His five defeats were on Bricktop shows, weren't they? There you go. When Barry Hearn went, good to me now, get your son off. Bricktop got him knocked about, didn't he? He get Dylan White knocked about in August with a Toma, wasn't he? Who's that guy who was texting me today, abusing me? Oh, it's Sicoli, it's Sicoli. I says, no, it ain't. Watch my video. I text Joe G on channel. Joe went, no, it ain't. It isn't a Coley. He told me it were, but I didn't say. But it's out now anyway. It's Moses, isn't it? Moses Atoma. So Richard Allen, your name. You look a tosser now, don't you? Abusing me. I love it when a plank up. So good
You're a
old Joe
maniac.
G. What?
You're a maniac.
Well, I'll just tell it straight down, I can. This is what we've been doing for 8 years on here. If people don't buy into it, well, go watch another channel then, don't you? You know what I mean? If you don't like somebody, why do you keep watching the channel? You know me, I don't like songs of praise on a Sunday, so I'm not going to watch it, am I? You know what I mean? So,
I'm actually surprised, Russell. I'm really surprised that Dillian White's going to take this fight.
listen, mate, he'll pull out with 2 weeks to go on. You know, my hand hurts, my leg hurts, my prick hurts. You know what I mean? It'll be something like that, won't it? Bro. Beginning one of them, won't it? You know what I mean? Dylan White, Dylan shine. I don't rate Dylan White. Anyway, a big fat man pushing 38. Who wants to watch him? You know what I mean? Moses Tomei will write him off. Dylan White's there to be hit. He couldn't do no with Tete. If you put a Toma in with Tete, it'll light him up. So Bricktop will get his own back, won't he then? He'll have a deal for Dylan. It'll be something like, look, Dylan, we're going to put you with Moses. We're going to pay you this. Dylan will be like, oh, that's all right. Because they need a name, don't they, for Moses? Keep him to see where he is. And then Dylan will be thinking, oh, he'll have probably a couple of other fights with Bricktop lined up. Bricktop will be like, well, if you lose to Moses, we'll bring you back, and this is what you'll be on. And it'll be one of them jobs, won't it? That's what it'll be like. And Dylan will be like, well, I'm going nowhere here because he's done with Eddie, isn't he? He had burnt all his bridges there, and he pulls out of fights. He's a four-time drug cheat. Am I right? Combat
Yeah.
sports. When he were 11 and 0. He got a 2 year ban for an over counter substance. Oscar Rivers fight, and then before AJ rematch that didn't happen. Four-time drug cheat. Nobody wants to talk about the last two drug tests, do they? Am I right? Moses, sorry, Oscar Rivers, and the last one, the before Joshua. Why are we not getting to hear what happened with that? Why is the silence around them two drug tests, Kent?
Well, I'll tell you what. Why is Frank Warren not asking I where's the B sample?
Exactly. He's saying, oh, Dylan comes to fight and blah, blah, blah. Look, he's playing the game, and he's a wily old fox, isn't he? Old Dinted. But Dylan White will be leaving on a stretcher in August if he even turns up. If. I called it with Wardley, I got round wrong. I said Wardley by knockout. Bang! But my accumulator knocked up. But you know what? Mark Jeffers, you cost me a lot of dough tonight, you. And that dog. Bert Ted runs next week, but he got cancelled, didn't it? Lyndon's dog. I was devastated. So I'll keep my bet. I'll go cash it in tomorrow and gives me dough back. I'll be back next week, Mr. William Hill. But other than that, I'm all right, Ken. How are you?
I'm brilliant. I
Have you been
really
on the
am.
sauce tonight, Kent, or are you playing it safe with your shandy?
I had 3 bottles of Coke.
Coke? What kind of Coke? The
Yes.
white stuff or the
No,
Coca-Cola?
definitely not Coca-Cola.
What a tosser company that is, Coca-Cola, but that's a long story. Right, Ken, let me just 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I need to don't want anybody nebbing in while I'm doing the business. Right, Ken. This is how I look at it. Let's just go. Let's back up a little bit because we're gonna have some hardcore serious chat tonight. We might even have to do a two-parter. Is that all right with you, Ken?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, here we go. Let's back up a little bit and go to the Barnsley show. Right. Callum Simpson, there were some knockdowns in that one, wasn't there?
I didn't actually. Well, I was watching. I thought the Queensbury show was far better.
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
watch it.
yeah, but you've got to be kidding me, mate. Honestly. And you got your laptop on and you telly at the same time, lad. Well, Callum Simpson, right? He won the European vacant belt tonight against Zucco. Why they both weighed in at 165, I don't know, for a 168 belt. But anyway, Simpson were down at first and third round, then he had Zucker down 3 times in 10th. So we have to give him credit, don't we?
I think we need to give Ben Shalom credit. You know,
Got to give him
he's
a
a
lot of credit because everybody's tried to cut his legs off. Uh, the British Boxing Board of Control have absolutely tried to poleaxe the man, really, with what they've done. What do you think to
it's
that, Kent?
It's absolutely bloody disgraceful. We look at the British Boxing Board of Control, and we see that fighters now are actually having embedded into their contracts rehydration clauses or dehydration clauses. It's not a listen, it's not a rehydration clause, it's a dehydration clause. And the very fact that they pulled that fight for tonight at the last minute of suspicion of sauna use is the biggest hypocrisy around. Like that's hypocritical whatsoever. The fine Chris Eubank over 400,000, whatever it was. You can quote me on it or whatever.
Yeah.
But they let him go in
350,
the
£350,000 sterling it were.
yeah, but they let him go into a fight dehydrated and not
Yeah.
rehydrated. A dangerous, you know,
Adam Bove called it, didn't he? And he said, look, the border control and the promoters that be let that man get in the ring where he couldn't perform at his best and be safe for his health at that weight. So how can Roberto Smith, how can he dare go on about something where the Mexican border control have rung him up and said, we've heard that Chavez has been in a sauna this week, so they just pulled it just like that. They've done that to Polak's Ben Shalom, aka the Mole.
I
Adrian
actually think
Adrian Mole. Now his days may be numbered at Sky and he's 4 years up, fair enough. But I think they'll share the dates out. But point I want to make is this: what's gone on there is nothing short of a scandal, right? And it's nothing. And what you've got there is the border control trying to get that kid out of the way to get Matchroom in there. That's what's gone on because Matchroom obviously don't feel comfortable working with DAZN and not having an exclusive deal. That's what it boils down to, doesn't it? Ben Shalom, he hasn't delivered really for Sky, so they're just going to slot Fast Car back in. Now that Fast Car Ken has dipped he's kind of like dipped his boots with DAZN, hasn't he? Yeah, he's dipped his
yeah,
boots and filled his boots, got millions in bank, and they're running back to Sky, aren't they now? Now that they're back to where they are with no fighters. Am I right?
absolutely.
There you go.
I,
And you
to,
don't
to be
agree with me
honest,
lately, Kent, on much. People keep saying in comments.
I am not towing the company line, Russell. I'm not towing the corporate line.
What, like Jerry?
Like Jerry, like all them. I'm not a yes man, Russell. You know that.
Okay.
I'm,
But the Barnsley card. It's not really worth talking about, is it really? Mark Jeffers hung me out to dry. I was looking forward though to Adam Azim fighting, Kent. I was looking forward to Adam Azim fighting, but I'm
listen,
pissed
you know
off
what?
now. Hmm?
There was Frank Warren for 2 years moaning about the British Boxing Board of Control having basically scheduled TV bouts on likes of Sky, DAZN, Queensbury, and there was tonight Queensbury and Sky. He wasn't spouting off tonight about it, was he? Which is
No.
another hypocritical statement from Frank Warren that's came to fruition from him. But it's to be honest with you, I was looking forward tonight to seeing Adam Azim and seeing how he done in his fight. And then you actually seen
Let's get
Pierce
another can,
O'Leary,
Kent. Go on.
Pierce O'Leary, how he did tonight. I think Pierce O'Leary's a fighter that's not really brought up a lot around Dalton Smith and Adam Azim. Everybody's talking about Adam Azim and Dalton Smith. I think Pierce O'Leary beats the two of them.
There.
Said that for months.
Hey, Kent, you know that video I sent you of that Irish fighter you were with? When did you work his corner
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, it was a club mate of mine. That was a club mate of mine for a long time.
What was his name?
Mark McCulloch.
What happened? Is he related to Wayne McCulloch?
No, no.
What happened to him then?
Mark retired, so
Yeah,
he did.
nice kid.
brilliant fighter, brilliant kid, brilliant guy. He's helping at my amateur club now. The club is the best it's ever done in a long time. He's doing a great job. We're like grow up. We all help each other out, and it's just what we do
Pretty
as
fight,
clubmates.
Kent.
What's that?
What are you any good?
Yeah, could punch. He could box. He had great hands. He was a really good athlete. He was great fighter.
Good,
Some really great fights.
good. Uh, well, let's read these out. Give him a bit of kudos. Mark Jeffers were only home fighter to lose, and I backed every single home fighter on that Barnsley show. I thought, well, that's a cert. And then it was just a case of navigating through Bricktop show and hoping that Wardley got a knockout. I mean, I was sweating like a pig, but didn't really matter because Jeffers knocked me up, didn't he? But Maro Silva won. Ellis Price, Sam Hickey, Red Johnson, Frankie Stringer, Reese Edwards, and Callum Simpson. But Jeffers lost. You know what? I must have missed a trick there because Jeffers 45 against a guy ranked 42. It's a fucking even fight, that, isn't it? You know, it slipped through my net, didn't it? That I should have just put that one to the side and have been
I
sat fat now with a
thought
big pile of it.
I thought Stringer and Kane Baker was a really good fight. It was really competitive.
Yeah.
Really
Listen,
enjoyed that
Sky put a
fight.
good show on there, you know. And do you know what? It'd been better
Listen,
if we'd
Russell.
had Adam Azim on.
Listen, Russell. I think everyone is really quick to jump on Ben Shalong's head, jump bandwagon, and just let's everybody just rinse Ben Shalong. Let's be honest. The last couple of years, he had basically the first fighter he signed was Nathan Gorman and Natasha Jonas. That's all
A
he
fat
had.
man who's no good.
Who couldn't fight.
Fat
Uh,
man who couldn't fight. Well, good skills, but he couldn't stay out at fridge, could he? That's the bottom line.
then we had a deal, like a hybrid deal with Eubank Jr., who could come in and out of cards. Let's be honest, Eubank Jr. against Liam Williams was the highest viewed fight on free to air Sky Sports. Eddie Hearn didn't do that. He put together a fight that nobody could make for years when they were in their prime, when they were past it. He put together Brooke and Amir Khan, which was a big fight. Eddie Hearn couldn't do that. Frank Warren couldn't do that. So let's give him a bit of credit. You know, I think the demise of Ben Shalom has been Riyadh season. It's really took it's really any trajectory that he's had, it's basically took that away from him.
Yeah, I do, Ken. I do as well, mate. Uh, well, this Barnsley show. I want Sky to put another one on there because they got Callum Simpson's now a European champion now, and he's won other belts. Obviously, he's going through the levels, and I like to see that. And I know the super middleweight division is not as strong as it were 15 years ago, or it has been in the past. But he's flying the flag, Callum Simpson, isn't it? I'd like to see him in the at some point with Liam Cameron or Amzad Shearers, you know, them guys. What do you think,
Well,
yeah?
why not? He's come through as an on-sign fighter who was jumping around shows and now is, you know, collected every belt at domestic and European level. Now he's top. Now he is obviously when you win the European title, you are in the top 10 WBC. Now he is ranked. You know, there's opportunities out there for him, and I think it
Yeah.
would be a shame. You know, it would be a shame for me, like if Boxer did lose their deal and fighters like that who Ben Shalom had built go to other promoters, and the other promoters kind of reap the rewards of of what he has done. You know, he's top 10 super middleweight now. You know, there's obviously super middleweight division for me is absolutely garbage right now, and the middleweight division. I think you look at Caleb Plant last week getting absolutely destroyed by a club fighter. You know, I never really rated Caleb Plant anyway. Uh, there is going to be opportunities out there for him now. You
Not
look at
hungry.
last week. You look at last week, a couple of weeks back. You look at that dreadful Canano fight in Williams Skull. Like I looked at that fight, I looked at watch Williams Skull, and I'm thinking, you were basically a WBO guy in the 80s and 90s. That's what he was like. He was bloody awful, holding an IBF title, fighting in an undisputed unified fight. So if guys like that can do well in the division, there's no reason why Callum Simpson can pick up a world belt at some stage or even
The
fight for one.
divi- Ken, the division at super middle and middle is piss weak.
Dire. No,
Let's
it's
tell
it's
let's tell the let's
dire,
tell the truth here. Let's
dire,
tell the truth.
dire.
When you've got Tyler Denny ranked number 6 in the world, Houston, we have a fucking problem. You see where I'm coming from?
It's even fighters like Igor Balanga, like he's bloody awful. Like he's
They were
dreadful.
talking about Hamzat Shearers as a new Tommy Hearns, weren't you? Spencer Brown, you cock.
You know,
Hamzat
and
Shearers as the new Tommy Hearns. They
and
lost the
and and
shit out of him, didn't they?
Charlo and the Charlo brothers box like the Chuckle brothers. Honestly,
Marvin Hagler will be turning in his grave looking at this middleweight division at the moment.
Marvin Hagler could have fought the top 10 all in one night, all in one night.
No, no, it's not good, is it? Dripping Tap will be doing cartwheels now on, mate. I'm telling you, drip. I'll come see you when I'm back up north, kid. Pop, pop, bang. Uh, these Sky rumours that he's on his way out. I think he's still in mix, but I think they're just going to share dates out now. It's obviously too much for him to take on 20 slots in a season. Do you think? Because
No, I disagree.
the fighters are not there, Ken. They're feeding on scraps. I've had Big Ron up phone tonight. He's in Rome, innit? We Max fights tomorrow at the Vatican City. You know Max, Big Max, who comes on channel. So him and Big Ron, I've had them on tonight, and Big Ron were trying to tell me what I can and can't say. I just told him to F off. We were laughing. He was pissed anyway in the back of some limo or something when Max rung me. But point I want to make is boxing's changed now, and promoters they've not got much to play with, especially in UK, have they? Do you know what I mean, Matt? Kent, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, like I've just said there. Have you seen the state of the middleweight division, the super middleweight division, and the light heavyweight division in the UK? Where's these dominant characters at these weights? Have we got a world champion at middle, super middle, and light heavy? No, we fucking haven't, have we?
No.
Where's your middleweight stars? You know, your Alan Minters, where's your Carl Frotchers, your Carl Zaggies, your Steve Collinses, your Clinton Woods type guys. Where are they now? We haven't got any of them, have we? We're feeding on scraps. We've got Amzad Shearers, we've got Callum Simpson, we've got Anthony Yard, we've got Tyler Denny. That's what we've got. And it's not good enough, is it? It's not good enough, mate. We've got Ben Whittaker. Oh my God. And they've dug Liam Cameron up after 4.5 years out at light heavyweight. That's where we're at British level. There isn't any of them lot. Maybe bar Callum Simpson that's going to win a world title because Callum Simpson showed heart tonight, hasn't he? He got dropped in that. He got back up. When you get dropped and you get back up to win, as far as I'm concerned, that don't put miles on the clock. It shows that. That's what I think. Yeah.
Honestly, at some stage, you have to go through the storm. There's only one way you can go through it. You can't go around it.
Ken,
Getting
let me just
dropped.
say this to you, right? You're ex-boxer, right? Teddy Atlas, we all know I'm a big fan of Teddy Atlas. I think he gets his point across brilliantly. Do you remember the fight with Mora?
Yeah.
Teddy Atlas jumped in the seat and said, "Do you want me to sit here? What are we doing here?" You know, he said because we were fighting Holyfield. He says, "Look, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, but you're just doing enough and hoping that he leaves you alone because Holyfield wouldn't leave him alone, would he? And eventually he got into Mora's head and Mora set about him, didn't he? Started putting his punches together, didn't he? Right. Teddy Atlas always says this: we're firefighters, aren't we? We're going into the fire. Now, some of these fighters from the UK, they've never been in a firefight. Never been in a firefight. Billy Joe Saunders, padded record all his career. First time he were in a firefight, what happened? He quit on his stool, right? Nobody's seen him since that. He's into his fifth year now since then. And they're still talking about him coming back. He's fat as a pig, Michelin man. He needs a gastric band. He ain't never going to fight again. It's just chit chat for the sake of chit chat. Boxers, ex boxers like him that have had people hanging out back of them, they need that fix every now and then. Billy needs that adulation fix. If he came back now, Kent, he would get flogged by an English level guy at super middleweight or middle. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I knew the week of the fight. It's about the only time we've agreed in the last 6 months. But I knew the week of the fight that Bully Joe Saunders would appear out of nowhere, making it about himself, talking
Go on,
about a
two seconds.
comeback.
Go on, keep talking. Yeah, go on.
There's no chance. Like that was his, that was him coming back and making that fight about himself. Really, if he wanted to fight Eubank Jr., he would have turned up there 2 stone later. He would be 2 stone later. He would have been training all year to get himself back in the mix. I can't say it. It was just for me looking back on it. It was just all attention, just to steal some some of the limelight. That's all it was.
Yeah, well, listen, mate, he can't stand Eubank, can he? But if you go in there with Eubank now, I mean, Eubank's shot to death, isn't he? Eubank Jr. Let's have it right, man. He's shot to death at 160. He can't pull trigger. Now, 168, maybe, yeah, he might do all right. But him and Billy at 168, Billy won't be able to hold a body shot because, what is he, 49-month out ring? So if he fought Eubank, say in 6 months, what would that be? 4 or 5 year out at ring. Once you get hit with a body shot and you've been out at ring that long, it's not the same as when you're an active fighter, is it? You become human, don't you, Ken? You know?
Your
I,
body gets conditioned to absorbing punches. It builds a tolerance to fatigue. So it does pain, fatigue, and as you say, your body, as you say, you become normal. It's like Ricky Hatton's second comeback. Remember when Ricky Hatton come back that time?
Danchenko.
Shevchenko, he couldn't like Shevchenko didn't need to win rounds in that fight. All he needed to do was just catch him on the ladder fight, body shots, and
Yeah.
that was it.
You
And
know, an
you
active
could do it.
fighter, Ken, Broch always says to me, you look at fighter, I'm not going to say which fighter it was, says, get him getting hit by a body shot and staying down. Fighters shouldn't be going down to body shots if they're training correctly. You know what I mean? If you're doing your job properly, you shouldn't be going on down to body shots. It's when they're cutting corners, when you're getting put down on that floor by a body shot, you're not breathing properly, you're not training, you've been cutting. Do you agree with me on that, Ken?
Absolutely. It's
Thank you very much.
you
I've seen
train to be
fighters.
conditioned athlete. You're a conditioned athlete. So you are.
Listen, fighters, I used to stick it straight in the guts and I couldn't budge them. There was that all you've got, Porky, because they're in shape. And a few I've stuck one in, they've got, oh, and I thought, well, he's not in shape. That's true, mate. Honestly, if you're in
Conditioned athlete.
shape, you can hold a body shot, can't you?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and all these people who think, oh, you need abs, this and that. Listen, I've got abs,
No.
but I wouldn't be able to hold a body shot of a professional boxer. I'd fold like a deck chair, wouldn't it? 11 and a half clem.
Sit-ups don't help you absorb body
Make you
punches.
look good aesthetically, but it doesn't mean that you can hold a body
No.
shot. I've seen fat men hold body shots. Dave Allen can hold a body shot, and when have we ever seen him with abs? He's always walking around with his belly hanging over his skiddies, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh. Mike McCallum's died, Ken. Your thoughts on him? I thought you were a legend.
Probably one of the greatest fighters of all time for me. Holy Grail of Mount Rushmore of great heavyweights. A three-time world champion, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, maiden divisions. Went up and fought Jeff Harding at light heavyweight.
Gonna go,
So
Ken. Gonna watch a part two.
yeah, send me a link.